So the ayahuasca ceremony takes place in the evening, and I am pumped up. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna go see these gorgeous visuals. Life is so good. My life is so great. Thank you, God, for moving me to this. I'm so happy. And I get into the little place where they, give out the medicine, where he's sitting there and he's all in his gorgeous robe and headdress, and his grandfather's there. And something very important is that true curanderos, they are not, this isn't like a class you can take online. They are given, this is a lineage gift. You either have it or you don't. This isn't something that you just learn and you figure out and you're like, okay, now I am a shaman. No, true curanderos, true healers, this has been passed down from generation to generation, and it is the father's job to say, my child has this or they don't have this. Luckily, in my situation, the grandfather gave his gifts to his grandson, which is Ahmed, which is the guy I went to go see. And so now he's even more strong. And it's very, very, it's not likely that you'll see an older curandero give his gifts away to his son until they die. But it just so happens that he did. And so now he's super powerful. And so I sit down, I drink the medicine, and I'm blowing, right? I start blowing. I feel like I need to start blowing around the world, in every corner of the world. So I'm sitting straight, sitting in crisscross applesauce, but I'm blowing around me maybe 8 times, right? So this is north, northeast, east, southeast, south. So I'm blowing at each corner of the world. And as I'm blowing, I feel this sense of healing coming out of my breath that's just going all over the world. And then I get back to the center. I'm tired. I pass out, and I'm oh, this is so nice. I feel so good, just doing God's work. And then the medicine asks me to do it again. And I'm for sure. And she's blow, this time blow as hard as you can. I'm okay. So I grab my mouth and I'm I'm blowing so freaking hard that as soon as I hit back to sitting forward after my 8 huge, taking all of my lungs and then expelling all of this air and watching all of the world just heal, and I could see little black things dissipating. I just pass out, and I'm not pass out, but I just fall over in this little dream state. And she's petting me, and she's I know I asked a lot out of you. This is what you're here for. You're here to heal. And so then I'm okay, I'm going to sit up. So I start sitting up, and I start to get this feeling of wanting to throw up. And this is normal because ayahuasca is a purging medicine. And so what you're doing is you're purging spiritual impurities. And these are the spiritual traumas that have been given to you generation to generation that you may not be conscious of. And so, or things that may have happened to you in this lifetime, obviously, as well. So I'm trying to hold the medicine. You want to hold it as long as you can until you absolutely can't, because this is going to bring on stronger visions. And I'm there for the visions, baby. I'm show me it all. And so I finally throw up, and there are demons everywhere, and they are these green demons, and they've got these short little horns with vampire teeth, and super sexy bodies, and hot black eyes, and they're just stripper-esque, and I'm terrified. And I see now that this greed demon is like connected to me. And God's basically telling me, like, you need to get rid of her. And you need to be done with her for good. And I'm trying so hard. I'm like vomiting and vomiting and vomiting and vomiting. And I couldn't let her go. She had been a part of me for so long that I was just like, I would throw her up and she would go away, and then like she would come back, and then it was like we were in this like dance together, and I was just like, how is something that I love so much so bad for me? But also at the same time, in that moment, I feel where she is from, and it is disgusting. It is so gross, and I'm just like, to the pit of my stomach, I'm just like, you're fucking disgusting. Like go away from me. You're not allowed here. I'm like telling her to get the fuck away, and she will not. She's like, she will not, or I will not let go. And so, on top of that, remember the dude I was going to go see in California, and he was like, and God was like, he has a sex demon connected to him, and you have a greed demon connected to you. And these demons, they like to play. So if you go to California, is that something that you want to do? Do you want to go and contribute to that sex demon getting stronger? Do you want to contribute to his ailments? And I was like, no, absolutely I don't. Like, okay, I'm going to be with my ex. Like, listen, you will do literally anything, say anything to just get these demons away from you. I mean, I was at a point where like God was then showing me, like after I like kept throwing up the greed demon, like finally then another demon pops up, and it's like the vanity demon, except the vanity demon is not, it doesn't look like anything except me. It's just like, it looks like me, and she's like standing there, and she's like in a cabana, like in a pool cabana, and she's like wearing a cute bathing suit with like these cat-like glasses, and then there's like photographers everywhere like taking photos. And God's like, look at you. He's like, everything that you hate about the Kardashians, which by the way, their mother sold them to the devil so they can have ultimate fame and money and power, and everything that you hate about them, you're sitting here and you're doing. You're, brand name shit. You're, excuse my language, God was not kissing me. I just cussed. Your lips, your tits, the Botox, all of these are feeding self-loathing demons. And you're sitting here and you're doing it, yet you're talking trash about Kim K. And I was like, to the point where they're swirling around me, so many of them, and they're you can feel their energy. Like, yeah, they look hot, but at the end of the day, like, their energy is so disgusting that you're just like, get the hell away from me. And I'm like saying, I don't even want to be gifted another brand name thing again. And God was telling me too, like, these things like the bags and the shoes and going and getting your nails done, these are all trinkets that keep people enslaved to the demon of self-loathing. And I know, like, I came back and I told some people that, and they're like, well, I don't really, I don't see that. I get my nails done and it's not like that for me. I didn't think it was like that for me either. Like, this is just what happened with me. And I'm not saying that, like, if you buy bags that are, Hermes or Louis Vuitton or whatever, that you then have some sort of demon connected to you. I'm just saying this is what happened to me. And so, I missed my spot. There was just, a lot of sex demons. And I got to the point where, like, I threw up for like 2.5 hours straight. probably longer, to be honest. I can't even remember. I was throwing up so much because it was like such a dance. Like I was telling you, I was like letting go, but I didn't want to let go. And then I was letting go, and then I didn't want to let go. And so that's why I was throwing up so much, because it was very difficult for me to cut the cord with the relationship that I had had with her, this demon. Which is so interesting, because after my experience, I realized that there were these times whenever I took mushrooms that I would see her. And I would always, like, this very beautiful woman profile, like, she didn't look demon-esque at all. It was just a gorgeous brunette, beautiful profile. And she would always be around me, but in like fractals. And then I realized, I was like, oh my God, whenever I would take mushrooms, which is another type of medicine, by the way, weed, mushrooms, ayahuasca, these are all medicines that can be used to heal. Just people, don't. They use it for purposes that are not in aligned with healing. So you're gonna have bad trips, So, and by the way, even though that there were like demons crawling everywhere around me, I don't think that this was a bad trip per se or journey. I think that this is something, these are things God is showing a mirror to me, and he's like, hey, look here, this is what you need to work on. And I'm like, okay. And so, I was so sick and I couldn't handle it anymore. And I got to the point where I just like lay down and I was just like, I can't handle this demon. So I like sent it over to my curandero, Amer, and I was like, please handle this, because my stomach literally cannot take it anymore. I'm exhausted. There comes a time where you have to be gentle on yourself too, because even though you're there to go throw up, to go purge these impurities, these spiritual impurities, you have to be gentle with yourself, because it's a process. It's a process, and you get tired. People get tired. It's okay. So my California boy gone. But at the end of that, I didn't even care. I was like, fuck these demons. Like, I don't care. I'm going to do what's right. I feel good about doing what's right, even though like this like devious part of me like wanted to go see him, and like also at the same time, like a spiritual part wanted me to see him too. Like it was all connected. And I felt good about it. I felt good about it. And I told him I was going to make the decision like after I got back from Peru, but I had already made the decision to go. I was just telling him that I was going to make it afterwards. And so he sends me a message whenever he gets back, and we end up talking. And the craziest is crazy. So this sex demon that he has was confirmed. He said that he had an addiction with pornography. And while I was in Peru cleansing myself, he felt it for like 3 days too, that he too was being cleansed, that he was, going on dates with other girls, and he was like, I went on dates with other girls and I wasn't like freaking out. Like I wasn't trying to like, take him home and like sleep with them. Like, like I wasn't watching pornography. I had zero desire and urge, and I also felt super sick. And I was like, whoa, that's like, really interesting, because I really do feel like we were connected on another level. Because he told me he felt like he was out doing ayahuasca with me. Like he felt like his soul went and did ayahuasca. And now, I don't know if I haven't followed up with him about it, but whenever I did get back, he did tell me these things, he told me was a really big deal for him. So that was really nice to hear. I was so happy to hear that he was able to overcome this sex demon that truly has people by such a hold. It's such a hold. Like when you see them, they're so gross. They got their teeth sunk into your soul. It's so bad. But yeah, stay tuned for number 2 because this one's crazy.